Ask 10 people the best way to protect their kidneys, and almost all of them will tell you the same two things. Drink more water, eat less salt, and listen, both of those are true. They matter. They absolutely matter. But they are nowhere near the full story. In fact, if that is all you have ever been told, then nobody has really explained to you how kidney damage actually sneaks up on people after 60. Because the part almost no one talks about is not what happens at breakfast. It is not what happens at lunch. It is what happens in that last hour before bed. That quiet little window at night, when your body is supposed to slow down, your blood pressure is supposed to fall, and your kidneys are supposed to get their best chance to recover. And what you eat right before sleep can either support that recovery or quietly work against it. That is the part most people never hear. And after 60, it matters more than most people realize. Because kidney damage is one of the quietest problems in the body. A struggling kidney does not usually hurt. It does not send dramatic warning signals. There are very few pain nerves there to tell you something is going wrong. So by the time it finally shows up on blood work, by the time somebody says your kidney numbers are slipping, you may already have lost a significant chunk of your filtering power. And unlike your liver, your kidneys do not just regenerate what they lose. You are born with the filters you get. The goal is to protect the ones you still have. I have spent years watching this happen to good, careful people. People who thought they were doing everything right. They were not drinking soda all day. They were not living on fast food. They were trying. But nobody had ever explained to them how much their evening habits were affecting those tiny filters night after night. So tonight, I want to give you something practical. Not vague advice. Not another speech about healthy living. I want to give you the fruits to eat in the evening that actually support your kidneys while you sleep. Some of them you will expect. A few will genuinely surprise you. And one of them is a fruit a lot of people with kidney worries have been told to avoid completely. And I am going to explain honestly why that warning exists, when it matters, and when it doesn't. And at the very end, I will give you a simple bedtime recipe that combines the safest and most useful of these into one easy glass. But before I give you the first fruit, I want to say something to the person watching this, who is scared they have already waited too long. Listen to me carefully. Even when kidneys cannot regrow what they have lost, decline can often be slowed dramatically. Sometimes almost to a standstill. People do it every day. I have watched people in their late 60s and 70s steady their kidney numbers for years once they stopped overloading the filters and started supporting them in the right way. That matters. Holding the line matters. Protecting what you still have matters. That is why I make these videos. I want you living longer, stronger, and healthier. Well past the age when people start lowering expectations for themselves. And if you want the full plan I use to help people over 60 protect energy, circulation, blood sugar, blood pressure, and kidney health with simple daily habits, it is already waiting for you through the link on your screen whenever you are ready. Now let us talk about what your kidneys are actually doing while you sleep. Here is what almost nobody explains in a rushed office visit. Each kidney contains about 1 million tiny filters called nephrons. And inside each nephron is a little knot of blood vessels called a glomerulus. That glomerulus is the real filter. It is where your blood gets cleaned. Waste goes out. The useful things your body still needs stay in. And you are born with all the nephrons you are ever going to have. You do not get a fresh batch at 70. You do not get replacement filters at 80. So the whole game after 60 is not about boosting the kidneys. It is about protecting the filters you still have left. And two things wear those filters down faster than almost anything else. The first is pressure. High blood pressure does not just affect your heart. It batters those tiny blood vessels inside the kidney over and over again, like water slamming through a hose at too much force. Over time, that pressure scars the filter and shuts it down. The second is oxidative stress. That sounds technical, but the easiest way to picture it is this: slow internal rusting. The same way a cut apple starts browning when it is exposed to air, your cells take damage over time from this internal chemical stress. And when pressure and oxidative stress work together, kidney filters wear down faster. Now here is where the evening becomes so important. Your blood pressure is not supposed to stay the same 24 hours a day. In a healthy body, it naturally drops at night while you sleep, usually by around 10 to 20%. That drop is called nighttime dipping, and it is one of the kidney's most important recovery windows. This is when the force on those tiny filters comes down. This is when they finally get a little relief. People whose blood pressure does not dip properly at night often lose kidney function faster. So the goal of your evening food is simple. Help your pressure drop the way it is supposed to. Help reduce oxidative stress. And do not give your kidneys a bunch of extra work right when they are trying to recover. That is exactly where these fruits come in. Each one helps in one of three ways. Either it brings antioxidants that help protect the filters from oxidative damage, or it helps blood vessels relax so nighttime pressure can fall more naturally. Or it supports the gut, the urinary tract, or uric acid balance in a way that takes work off the kidneys before it ever reaches them. And most of them are gentle enough to eat at night without spiking your system. I said most. Because there is one exception, and when we get there, I am going to be very direct with you. Let's start with the first fruit. The first fruit is blueberries. And if I had to choose just one fruit with the cleanest, strongest reputation for kidney-friendly support, this is where I would start. What gives blueberries that deep blue-purple color are compounds called anthocyanins. And anthocyanins are some of the most powerful antioxidant plant compounds we know. That matters directly for your kidneys. Remember the slow rusting we talked about? The oxidative stress that quietly damages those filters over time? This is exactly the kind of damage blueberries help push back against. Again and again, berry-rich diets are associated with lower inflammation, better blood vessel function, and less oxidative stress in the body. And your kidneys are basically an organ made of tiny blood vessels. Protect the vessels and you give the filters a better chance. Blueberries also earn the evening slot for another reason most people do not think about. They are relatively low in sodium and relatively manageable in potassium compared with many other fruits, which makes them one of the more kidney-friendly choices even for people who are trying to be cautious. Hold on to that thought, because potassium is going to matter later in a big way. As a bedtime fruit, blueberries are simple. About half a cup is enough. Fresh works. Frozen works too. In fact, frozen berries are often picked at peak ripeness, so they may be just as good. Eat them alone, or stir them into a little plain yogurt. That small serving gives you a real antioxidant benefit without much sugar at all. Next is cranberries. And cranberries are one of the most misunderstood fruits in the entire kidney conversation. Most people hear cranberries and think of one thing only: urinary tract infections. And yes, that connection is real. But that is only the surface of why cranberries matter. Cranberries contain special plant compounds that make it harder for certain bacteria to stick to the lining of the urinary tract. That is important because infections that start lower in the urinary tract and travel upward can become a real burden on the kidneys over time. So every infection you prevent, lower down is one less stressor for the kidneys higher up. But cranberries also bring a strong antioxidant profile of their own, so they are helping in two directions at once. They support the urinary tract, and they help cool some of the inflammatory and oxidative stress that can wear down the filters. The catch is this: most cranberry juice sold in stores is not really a kidney support drink. It is sugar water with cranberry flavor. And that completely changes the equation. What you want is either a small amount of unsweetened cranberry juice diluted with water, or a modest amount of unsweetened dried cranberries. Not a giant glass. Not a sweet cocktail. Just enough to get the benefit without flooding your system with sugar right before bed. Third is red grapes. And I want to stress the color here. Red or purple grapes, not green ones. Because the reason grapes make this list lives mostly in the skin. Red grape skins contain resveratrol, one of the most studied plant compounds in aging and vascular health research. And for your kidneys, resveratrol is interesting because it appears to work on two things you care deeply about: inflammation and blood vessel function. It helps calm inflammatory stress, and it supports healthier blood vessel behavior. That matters because relaxed, flexible blood vessels make it easier for blood pressure to dip the way it is supposed to overnight. And the easier that dip happens, the more relief your kidney filters get while you sleep. Red grapes also carry a small natural amount of melatonin. Not enough to act like a sleeping pill, but enough to fit beautifully into this nighttime theme. A fruit that gently supports sleep is indirectly helping the kidney too, because better sleep and better nighttime blood pressure go hand in hand. Now, grapes do come with one important caution. They are sweeter than the berries. So this is not a fruit to eat by the bowl while you watch television. Think 10 to 15 grapes. That is enough. Eat them whole, skin and all. A great trick is to freeze them. Frozen grapes feel like a real dessert, they take longer to eat, and they often satisfy the craving that would otherwise lead you straight to cookies or ice cream. Number 4 is the humble apple. And this one helps your kidneys in a way most people never expect. Through your gut. Apples are rich in a soluble fiber called pectin. When pectin reaches the gut, it feeds helpful bacteria there. And when the gut environment is healthier and calmer, it sends less inflammatory stress out into the bloodstream. That matters because your kidneys have to filter everything circulating through that blood. A chronically irritated gut can quietly increase the burden on the kidneys day after day. An apple helps upstream. And there is more. The skin of the apple contains beneficial compounds like quercetin, which has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects of its own. So if you peel the apple, you lose a big part of what makes it helpful. Eat it whole if you can. Apples also tend to be one of the safer fruits from a potassium standpoint for many people, which is one more reason they stay on the friendly list. A medium apple in the evening is a solid option. If you want to keep sugar lower, choose a slightly tart variety like Granny Smith. Slice it up, add a little real cinnamon, and have it an hour or two before bed so the fiber has time to settle. So far, every fruit I have mentioned is doing some version of the same quiet work. Cooling oxidative stress. Reducing inflammatory burden. Supporting blood vessel function. Helping your kidneys begin the night with less to clean up. And now we get to the fruits that make this even more interesting. Because the next few do things the earlier ones do not. And one of them may completely change how you think about nighttime food. But before I go on, if this is the first time someone has actually explained why your kidneys need support at night, not just told you to drink water and eat less salt, then do me a quick favor. Subscribe. Like the video. And if you know someone with high blood pressure, diabetes, kidney stones, or swelling in their legs, send this to them. Because these are the conversations too many people never get until damage has already started. Now let's keep going. Number 5 is tart cherries. And this is one of the most underrated fruits on the list. Because tart cherries help with something that has a direct kidney connection: uric acid. Uric acid is a waste product your kidneys are responsible for clearing. When it rises too high, it can contribute to gout, increase the risk of certain kidney stones, and add to the stress load on the kidneys over time. Tart cherries have been studied for their ability to help lower uric acid levels. That makes them especially interesting, because this is not just general antioxidant talk anymore. This is directly relevant to something your kidneys handle. And tart cherries also happen to fit the bedtime theme beautifully because they are one of the better-known natural food sources of melatonin. That means they support sleep in a very natural way. And deeper, more stable sleep can support healthier nighttime blood pressure patterns. So tart cherries help in two smart directions at once. They may reduce uric acid burden, and they support the very sleep pattern that gives the kidneys their recovery window. That is a powerful combination. The best way to use them is not sugary cherry juice from the convenience store. You want unsweetened tart cherry juice in a small amount, diluted with water, or a small spoonful of unsweetened dried tart cherries. Just enough for benefit. Not enough to turn bedtime into dessert hour. Number 6 is strawberries. And strawberries deserve more respect than they get. Most people think of them as a sweet garnish or something to dip in chocolate, but they are actually one of the lighter, more kidney-friendly evening fruits you can eat. Strawberries bring vitamin C, fiber, and antioxidant compounds like ellagic acid, all of which help fight the same oxidative stress and low-grade inflammation we have been talking about. They are also relatively light in sugar for how satisfying they taste. That matters at night. Because the goal is not to flood your system with sweetness before bed. The goal is to give your body something protective that does not sit heavy, does not spike blood sugar too hard, and does not create extra work while your kidneys are trying to rest. Strawberries do that beautifully. They are also mostly water and fiber, which makes them feel fresh and easy in the evening. For many people, half a cup to 1 cup is perfectly reasonable. You can eat them plain, sliced with a little yogurt, or even chilled on their own as a simple night snack. And if you want to make them feel a little more indulgent without adding sugar, cinnamon works there too. Number 7 is pineapple. And this is one most people almost never associate with kidney support. But pineapple has something special that makes it stand out: bromelain. Bromelain is a natural enzyme found in pineapple, and it has anti-inflammatory properties that make it unique among common fruits. Inflammation is part of the slow wear and tear story in kidney decline. Anything that helps reduce that chronic inflammatory burden may help take pressure off the system over time. Pineapple also brings vitamin C and other antioxidant compounds, so it supports the same protective theme from another angle. And there is one more reason pineapple surprises people. For a fruit that tastes tropical and sweet, it is not as high in potassium as many assume. That makes it a friendlier option than people expect, especially compared with some of the fruits that are often assumed to be healthier just because they are popular. Now again, portion matters. Pineapple can still be sweet. So think about half a cup of fresh pineapple chunks, not an oversized bowl. Fresh is best. Frozen is fine. What you want to avoid is canned pineapple packed in syrup, because that turns a useful fruit into a sugar bomb. A few cold pieces in the evening can feel like a treat, while still fitting the kidney support goal. And now we come to number 8, the fruit I promised to explain honestly: citrus. Oranges, mandarins, and their relatives. This is the fruit many people with kidney worries have heard they should stay away from. And like many health warnings, the truth is not that simple. So let's split it into 2 parts. First, the good side. Citrus fruits are rich in citrate. Citrate matters because it helps reduce the formation of certain kidney stones by binding calcium in the urine and making it less likely to crystallize. In plain language, citrate is one of your body's natural anti-stone tools. And citrus fruits help top it up. They also provide vitamin C and helpful plant compounds that support antioxidant defense. So for someone with normal kidney function, or someone prone to certain stones but not dealing with advanced kidney disease, citrus can actually be very useful. Now the other side. Citrus fruits are also higher in potassium. And for people with healthy kidneys, that is usually not a problem. Healthy kidneys can regulate potassium very well. In fact, potassium can help support healthier blood pressure in the right context. But if someone already has significant chronic kidney disease, especially later stage disease, or if they are on medications that raise potassium, then high potassium foods can become dangerous. Because damaged kidneys may not clear potassium effectively. And when potassium builds up too much in the blood, it can become a serious heart risk. So here is the honest rule. If your kidneys are healthy, citrus may be a very smart fruit. If you have advanced kidney disease, have been told your potassium runs high, are on dialysis, or take medications that affect potassium, do not add high potassium fruits casually, just because a video told you they are healthy. Check with your doctor and check your blood work. That is not fear, that is wisdom. For the right person, a few orange segments in the evening can be helpful. For the wrong person, it can be exactly the wrong move. And honesty matters more than hype. Now before I give you the bedtime recipe, I want to draw one clear line the same way I would in an office. These fruits are for support. They are not a treatment for serious kidney disease. If you have swelling in your legs or around your eyes, foamy urine, blood in the urine, a major drop in urination, severe fatigue, nausea, or pain in your side or back below the ribs, those are not problems to solve with a smoothie. Those are reasons to get evaluated. And if you already have diagnosed kidney disease, these ideas should be customized with your doctor, especially when potassium is involved. Food is the foundation. But food is not the whole house. Let me make this real with a quick story. I once worked with a woman I will call Eleanor. She was 67, active, retired, and felt basically fine. No dramatic symptoms. No big warning signs. But on routine blood work, her kidney numbers had started to slip. Her eGFR had drifted down into a range that got our attention, and her creatinine had edged up. She was shocked. She did not have a terrible diet. She was not drinking heavily. She thought kidney trouble happened to someone else. What we found was not one giant mistake. It was a pile of small evening habits. Night after night, she was winding down with salty crackers, packaged snacks, or ice cream. Not huge amounts. Just enough to keep her blood pressure, sugar, and fluid balance moving in the wrong direction, right when her kidneys should have been getting relief. So we made simple changes. Nothing extreme. Some nights she had blueberries and strawberries. Other nights, a small apple with cinnamon. Some evenings, a little plain yogurt with a spoonful of berries. And if she wanted something different, a small amount of tart cherry. We kept citrus separate and made decisions based on her actual labs. She also started doing one simple thing after dinner, a 10-minute walk. That was it. A year later, her kidney function had not magically reversed, because kidneys do not regrow lost filters, but it had stabilized. And that is a win people should respect more. Her blood pressure improved. Her nights improved. And the steady slide had slowed. Sometimes success is not flashy. Sometimes success is protecting what you still have. Now let me give you the bonus I promised. The simple bedtime recipe that combines some of the safest and most helpful choices into one glass. I call it the Bedtime Kidney Tonic. And it takes about 2 minutes. Into a blender, add a small handful of blueberries, about a quarter cup. Add 4 or 5 strawberries. Then add a splash of pure unsweetened cranberry juice, or pure unsweetened tart cherry juice. Not a full glass. Just a splash. That gives you the urinary tract or uric acid support angle without loading it with sugar. Then add about half a cup of plain unsweetened kefir, or plain yogurt. That gives you a little protein and brings in probiotics for the gut-kidney connection we talked about earlier. Add a little water to loosen it. Then finish with a light shake of real cinnamon. Blend it smooth. That is it. Low in sugar, moderate and practical. Built from fruits that are broadly friendlier from a potassium standpoint. Rich in antioxidants. And far better for your kidneys than ending the night with salty crackers, chips, cookies, or a bowl of ice cream. Drink it about an hour before bed. Not because it is magic, but because it helps you make the right swap. And the swap is where the real power is. You are replacing something that pushes the kidneys in the wrong direction with something that supports the system instead. And if you want to vary it, you absolutely can. On a night you want a touch more sweetness, add a few red grapes. If dairy does not sit well with you at night, skip the kefir and use water instead. If you do not want to blend anything, do not blend anything. A simple bowl of blueberries and sliced strawberries with a spoonful of plain yogurt gets you much of the same benefit. The blender is not the point. The point is the habit. The point is what you are reaching for at night. And I left citrus out of this tonic on purpose. Not because citrus is bad, but because I wanted this recipe built from the fruits that are safest for the widest number of people watching. Citrus is one to think about separately depending on your kidney function and potassium status. So let me make this very practical. If you want to start helping your kidneys tonight, do these 5 things. First, close your kitchen earlier. Do not keep eating random salty or sugary foods right up until sleep. Give your body a calmer runway into the night. Second, choose one of the lower-risk fruits that is probably already in your house, blueberries, strawberries, or an apple, and have a small amount about an hour before bed. Third, if you want the full version, make the Bedtime Kidney Tonic. Blueberries, strawberries, a splash of unsweetened cranberry or tart cherry, plain kefir or yogurt, cinnamon. Fourth, take a 10-minute walk after dinner. That short walk matters more than people think. It helps blood sugar, circulation, digestion, and blood pressure. and blood pressure is one of the biggest levers you have for protecting kidney filters. And fifth, if you already have kidney disease, or if you take blood pressure medication, diuretics, ACE inhibitors, ARBs, or anything that affects potassium, write down one question for your doctor this week. Which fruits are safest for me, with my kidney numbers and my potassium? That one question can protect you from making a well-meaning mistake. Because the truth is, protecting your kidneys is not about one miracle food. It is about reducing the nightly burden, lowering the pressure, lowering the inflammatory load, supporting better sleep, and making smarter swaps often enough that your filters get a fair chance to keep doing their job. That is the real game after 60. Not perfection, protection. And if nobody has ever told you that before, now you know. Your kidneys are doing some of their most important work while you sleep. The question is whether you are helping them or quietly making the night harder. So tonight, give them a better night. Pick the fruit, make the swap, take the walk, and start protecting the filters you still have. Because when it comes to kidneys, the people who do best are usually not the people who made one dramatic change. They are the people who stop doing the small damaging things over and over again, and replace them with small helpful things they could actually stick with. That is how people hold the line. That is how people stay independent longer. That is how people keep energy, avoid complications, and protect quality of life. And there is one more thing you need to know. There is a single number on a standard lab panel that can quietly warn you about kidney trouble, years before most people ever feel anything. A number many people have had tested without ever being told what it means. And in the next video, I am going to show you exactly what that number is, how to ask for it by name, what range should make you pay attention, and what to do if yours is starting to drift. Because catching kidney trouble early is one of the biggest advantages you can possibly give yourself. And once you know what to watch, you stop flying blind. So if you care about your kidneys, your blood pressure, your energy, and your future, make sure you watch that next video. And tonight, start with the simplest step of all. Choose a better last bite before bed. Your kidneys will never send you a thank you card. But years from now,